YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, and today I'll be doing a review of what I think is one of the most atmospheric and scariest games of 2013, and it's Outlast. Now, I've been doing a playthrough of this game, and I'm enjoying myself a lot, but I lost most of the footage. I threw it away, so I didn't have enough to do an actual review with gameplay footage, but if you're interested in that, you can find my playthrough in different segments and on this channel. Let's talk about Outlast. Well, Outlast is a first-person survival horror game. It's usually not my kind of genre, but I decided to try this one, and I'm really glad I did. Let's tell you something about the story. Well, the story is quite thin. You are some kind of reporter, and you're on your way to an asylum where things are going horribly wrong, really horribly. So that's basically it. There isn't much to tell more about the story. Who you are, why you're there. It doesn't tell you that. During your investigation in the asylum, you will find notes and files of patients, and they sort of tell you some details of what is going on, but they're basically clues, and I don't think they add to the immersion of the game, these notes and files, because I think they break the immersion, because you go out of gameplay trying to read these files, and they don't really add anything. So if you're a developer of horror games, please use audio logs like in BioShock. These are great. They flesh out the story, hire some great voice actors, because that's the way to do it. Now, moving on from that, let's talk about how the game looks and feels. Well, some horror games use darkness to conceal the ugliness of the game, but in this case that's not true. Outlast has good graphics. It's not the best I've ever seen, but the graphics are good enough, detailed enough, and well, I must say that the character models up close look less detailed, and they are sort of recycled, especially the enemies, throughout the game. Now, the feel of the game it's as I said, one of the most atmospheric and scariest games I've played. I've had the pleasure to play this year. It's a really scary game. There's some grueling scenes and some jumping scares. If you like horror movies, this is the game to play. It's never boring. Each part of the asylum you'll visit is different, and it's creepy. It's really a terrifying place, and that has a lot to do also with the sound design. You know, the sounds of the asylum, the cracking of doors, the drops of water, the screams, you know, all the little sounds are brilliant in this game. Also the voice acting, it all adds to the creepiness of the game. Now, gameplay, this is of course the most important part of the game, well, it's a first-person. It's not a shooter. It's a first-person survival game in the true sense of the word, which means you have no weapons at all. And to me, that was really liberating. You know, having no weapons means that you have to go through the asylum and all the areas, trying not to get hurt, trying to sneak past enemies if possible, and if not, you need to run for your life. And this mechanic, the running, is especially good in this game, because you'll have to run a lot, because enemies will notice you, will hunt you down, will follow you almost everywhere, and you'll be running and trying to hide in closets, under beds, so it really scratches that boogeyman. Especially there's a scene where you need to escape a crazy doctor who's following you with knives, and it's it's it is an amazing part of the game. It's really that part that really struck with me. Um, so it's this game is the scariest thing I've played this year. So the AI of your enemies, when you're running and trying to hide, they will look in closets. They will look under beds. They can drag you out of pipelines and sewer drainages and all that. So you're not safe. You really have this sense that you're not safe in this place. Um, Now, gameplay is fairly linear, so you'll go from one place to the next. There's basically only one way to go through this game, and I didn't have a problem with that so much because there's a sense of progression with that, and there's no wandering about like other games, like well, Huntsman, the Orphanage, for instance. You'll be aimlessly walking around, not knowing what to do next. So that wasn't a problem. It's never boring. I must say that the game does repeat itself somewhat when you're given certain objectives to accomplish, like pulling a lever, opening a valve, and all that. You have to do that throughout the level 2 or 3 times while being chased by a crazy ass psychopath. So that adds a lot of stress. And the first time you'll experience that, it's like, oh my god, I need to do this, and I'm being chased, and you feel threatened and stressed, but it sort of becomes a little bit, it repeats itself somewhat. So that could have been a little better, but still, it's fun, it's scary as hell, and it's a great time if you play this, if you play the game. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. Oh, I forgot to mention that you don't have any weapons, as I said, but you do get a camera where you can put it on night vision, and you'll need that to basically go through really dark places in the asylum where there's no light whatsoever, and that really adds to the atmosphere also. So you'll be looking at, you know, greenish screen, and you're just looking around, and then all of a sudden you'll notice that there is an enemy around, and you need to try and find your way around him or try to run away from him. So it's brilliant. You know, I love this game for its atmosphere, for what it tries to do without guns, without weapons, and it's liberating to me. So all in all, this game deserves an 8 out of 10, and I'm really looking forward to maybe a sequel. They should do a sequel. They should add audio logs. They should flesh out the story a little bit more. And I think we'll have a winner of an excellent game the next time. But you know, 8 out of 10, good enough for me. Get it? It's not that long. It's about 4 or 5 hours, I think. And yeah, while it starts raining, I say goodbye to you, and until next time.